and let's talk. Now, there is the work, obviously. Now, something right here that's a little bit weird. A great many of you are going to say, well, Mr. Myers, I'm not supposed to leave decimals there. That's fine. You could also, right there, have finished off with 0.36, because it's 0.36 of a foot, and you want inches, and you have feet, so it would have been 0.36 times 12 to get the appropriate amount of inches. 0.36 times 12, and you would have gotten 4 1/3 inches. So 163 feet 4 inches would be perfectly acceptable there. I would take them both on your test because, again, even though we do not give those a measurement like that, we would never give that in a construction setting when we were using imperial. For my purposes in math class, this shows me you know the math you are doing. And I'm happy with that. Does everybody understand? So I would have accepted either of those. Then, since I was going to feet and inches, oh crap, actually, I screwed that up completely. That's what I should have done for the next question. This is how you were going to leave it. Then the 6'1" is what you would multiply by 12 to get the 13 feet 7 inches. Sorry, guys. Monday morning and all, you know how it is. Am I right? I know. So is everybody cool with that? It's this question that I would have accepted that or that. Now, I said feet and inches, but whatever. Everybody cool? And then in meters, I got it right there because it was 414.94. So 0.94 of a centimeter is less than half of the thickness of your pinky fingernail from being 15 centimeters. So I rounded up to 4 meters 15. Everybody cool with that? Does anybody need to discuss those two conversions? You get the formula right from your formula sheet. Circumference equals pi d. So if that wheel rolls around once, you must have gone that far. Just like one of those trundle wheel things. Click, 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 click. Everybody good? No questions? Awesome, possums. How many times must the cyclist turn the wheel to travel 1 kilometer? Well, to do 1 kilometer and you have meters, you had to do a conversion, yes? You either had to do 1 km divided by 0.00415 km, or you had to do 1,000 meters divided by 4.15, and you had to do 241 turns of the pedal. Now, these bikes always make me laugh because I think, wouldn't it be wicked if one of those guys that like rides bikes downstairs and off of roofs and things was doing it on one of these bad boys? That would be cool. That would be extreme. And then this one, of course, it's the exact same question, but you're using the small wheel now. So it's 18 for the diameter instead of 52, and then you do all the exact same calculations to get 696. Is everyone okay with the bicycle question? Even if you didn't do it, because you're not getting in trouble because it's homework, so if you don't do it, that's fine as long as you understand it when it comes time for tests and questions. I mean, tests and quizzes and assignments. Everyone is good? All right. Now, if I am not mistaken, I believe I asked you to do page 42 and stop at the projectile question on 43. Yes? Right? Did I or didn't I? No? Okay. So, right now, today, I want you to do page 42, even though the answer's showing behind me. I want you to do page 42. Do not do page 43. Okay? let's do 42 right now. Then you're going to start, then we'll do 43 together. Then you're going to start on your review, which is your first assignment for marks. Okay? So start on 42 right now. Some of you are going to get done before the class is ready to talk about it. If you get done, go on to page 44 and just start that review. Okay? Everybody understand? In a few minutes, we'll go over 42. We'll do 43 together because something weird happens on 43 that I want you to be aware of. And then you'll have the rest of the block to, well, not the whole block, because I want to mark some of 44 today. Everybody good? The test will be Wednesday because we are going to mark some of 44 today. You will finish it tonight. We will mark the rest of it tomorrow. Then you will have a whole night with the right answers from which to study. Okay? Any questions? All right, so 42 now, or start on 44 if you've already done 42. Where in this equation can I put numbers now? Because you guys you don't like doing algebra without numbers. So let's put some numbers in here. Where can I put numbers? I know the radius because I have it right here. So I know that R equals 5. What else do I know? I know the surface area is right there. So I know that SA equals 1,200. So I can rewrite this now, can't I? How would I write it? 1,200 equals pi. What's R now? 5 squared plus pi. What's R? 5s. Agreed? So now I would tidy it up. 1,200 equals, what's 5 squared? 25 pi, correct? Okay. Plus 5 pi s. Agreed? Is everybody good to that step? Even if you wrote nothing down on your own, are you following us to there? Everyone. Because if you're not, I need to see you at lunchtime or after school, or you need to go see another teacher that you actually like and learn algebra. Is everybody okay to there? Okay. Now, the next step is the question asks us to find the slant height, yes? Which means I need to get what letter alone? S. Awesome. Now, I am going to write something that I do not want you to write down. Do not write what I'm about to write. Could you solve that? Are you all of the algebra ability to tell me what x is here? Okay, what would you do? What's the first thing you would do, Prab? You would move the 7. You have been taught 2 ways to move that 7. One of the ways that you were taught was to do minus 7, because that's a plus 7 and you can't have it there. If you do something to the left side of the equation, what should you do to the right? Same thing, so you would take away 7. Does everybody understand that? The other way you were taught there was 2x plus 7 equals 21. You were taught to move that over and change the sign. 2x equals 21 minus 7. It will be the same thing. Everybody remembers that, yes? Okay, so why did you know to subtract 7? Because you do the opposite, yes? You were trying to get rid of it. Agreed? Okay, so do you see something over here that is just a number? Carlin? 25 pi is just a number, isn't it? That's 25 times pi, right? And is it positive or negative? Positive. So I must have to get rid, now you should write stuff down. I must have to get rid of 25 pi, yes? because I don't want that 25 pi there. I'm trying to get that s by itself. Does everybody understand? Carlin. We'll get to that in a moment. We'll get to that in a moment because, Carlin, that means that you totally understand math. And as is evidenced by how many blank sheets I saw, I have to go back and do the algebra from the very, very beginning. Now, is everybody okay with that? Now, when I do that, is this 25 pi going to disappear from this side? Which will make us one step closer to that s being alone, yes? Okay, if I do something to this side, what must I do to that side? Same thing. So I'm going to go ahead and write 1,200 minus 25 pi. Everybody agree? Equals 5 pi s. Everybody cool? All right, now go back over to this side where we're not writing stuff down. 2x now equals 14, correct? What do you do now? Y. What is this telling me to do? 2 times x, yes? But since I don't know x, I must have to do the opposite of what it's telling me to do in order to find the answer, right? So I'm going to divide by 2 because this was 2 times x, right? So now, come back over to here. What math is happening here? 5 times pi times s, yes? So if I divide by 5, will that get rid of the 5? And if I divide by pi, will that get rid of the pi? So I must have to divide by 5 pi. What will happen there now? I will be left with s by itself, yes? What must I do to this side? Same thing. So now I have 1,200 minus 25 pi divided by 5 pi. Now, are any of you able to do that in your head? Of course not. So you go to your calculator. When you see it written like this, what must you put in so your calculator will do it right? If you have an ABC button, you should use it. But if you don't, what must you add to the way we write to get your calculator to do it, Ananjo? You need brackets. Where? Around the top, and then you're going to push divided by, and then around the bottom, and then you're going to push equals. And you're going to get an answer of... That's not what I get. I go to my calculator and I do bracket. 1,200 minus 25. Now my calculator will do 25 pi here. If your calculator won't do that, what do you have to remember to push right there? Times. You have to know your calculator. Then I'm going to close the brackets. Then what math is this line? What math is that line? Division. So I'm going to push divided by. Then I'm going to do new brackets. 5 pi, close brackets, equals 71.4. Now, is everybody good? Now I want to show you something. If everybody can do that, then there are some shortcuts available to you. And Carlin was talking about one of them. Remember when we were at 1,200 equals 25 pi plus 5 pi s. Carlin says, hey, Mr. Myers, couldn't I divide by 5? Gentlemen, Axel and Aaron, thank you. Could I divide by 5? Carlin says, and I say, of course he can. If I divided everything by 5, he would have gotten 240 equals 5 pi plus pi s. And then he would do the exact same thing. He would do 240 minus 5 pi to move that over, then divided by pi to get s. And if he did that, he would still get 71.4. All right? Now please understand, this is no different than 2x plus 7 equals 14. If you can do that, you can do this, because math is always the same. What bothers you guys here is that pi, because you think it's a variable. Is pi a variable? No, pi is just a number. We write it as pi, so we don't have to go 3.1415927, right? Everybody good? All right. So let's pretend like you didn't know what to do in number 1, which is fine. Let's now see if we can apply what we do know to number 2. The volume of a cylinder, and we have its height, we want its radius. Well, we know the volume of every cylinder is, every prism is area of the base times the height, correct? And we know that the base of a cylinder is what shape? Circle. What's the area of a circle? Pi r squared h, correct? Okay, now, do I have some numbers in the question that I can put into the math? What? 20 centimeters is the height. So where am I going to write that down here? I'm going to put it in instead of h. Do I know any other numbers from the question? 500 is the volume, so that's going to go there, yes? Now what's my job? Get r by itself, yes? What math is happening there? I'll get it while you discuss with your neighbor what math is happening there. Go for Myers. Hello. Yes, he's on his way. So, what math is happening there? Multiplication. What math gets rid of multiplication in algebra? Division. So I must be dividing by pi, yes? What math is happening there? Multiplication. What gets rid of multiplication? So I must have to divide by 20, yes? If I divided this side by pi and 20, what should I divide this side by? Pi and 20. So 500 divided by 20 pi. Did this change of order change anything? No. What does that equal? What's left over here? R squared. Yes? Now I have some choices here. I could figure out what this is. How would I do this on my calculator? Do I need any brackets on the top? No, because there's no math on the top. So if I did 500 divided by, do I need brackets on the bottom? Yes. And then equals. What would I get? I go to my calculator. When my computer unfreezes, and I go 500, maybe. I don't know. You guys will all do 500 divided by 20 pi and tell me an answer, because as you can plainly see, my $1 million machine isn't working. 500 divided by bracket 20 pi. Now, I get this hideous answer, yes? Okay, should I push clear? No, because I'm not done. So in my work, though, I'm going to write r squared equals 7.95, even though it goes way further, yes? Now, how do I get rid? If I get rid of multiply by divide, I get rid of adding by subtraction. How do I get rid of square? Square root. So if I square root this, I'm going to get the answer. So I have it on my calculator, right? I'm looking at it. Some of you will just be able to push the square root button and it will give it to you. Some of you, like me, are going to need to do square root, and then I'm going to need to use that answer key. And I'm going to get 2.8. Is everyone okay? Have we done anything differently than 2x plus 7 equals 14? There's been nothing different, is there? It just looks different. But do we follow the same rules? Right? So let me ask you this. What if you're writing a test for me and you get to here? And you're like, I always screw up with my calculator. I always do it wrong. I'm worried. What more could you do to this? Up here, we did a square root to both sides, didn't we? So if I went like this, square root, and left it as r equals the square root of 500 over 20 pi, do you think that I, as your math teacher, would be happy? Very much so. Because this is math. This is calculator. Do you understand the difference? I need you guys to stop thinking that your abilities with your calculator are the same as your abilities with math. Because they're not. Is everybody good? Okay. I can make my calculator say hello. I can make my calculator say boobies. That doesn't mean I'm good at math. Does everybody understand? Okay. Now, the next thing I would like to point out to you is this. What if you're doing a multiple choice test and that's not there and you don't know how to make that work on your calculator? Here is what you do. You estimate. What is pi close to? What easy number is pi close to? You can do stuff with 3.14 easily. Isn't it close to 3? So this 20 times 3 is 60, yes? So this is close, and I'm going to make this squiggly equal sign to the square root of 500 over 60, yes? Everyone agree? Now, isn't 500 fairly close to 600 over 60? And isn't 600 divided by 60 fairly close to the square root of 10? And isn't the square root of 10 fairly close to the square root of 9? And isn't the square root of 9 3? So, my guessed answer was 3. What happened when I punched into my calculator? Is 2.8 pretty darn close to 3? Yeah. If you owed someone $2.82 and you had a loonie and a toonie in your pocket and the other pocket had a bunch of change, would you just throw them the loonie and the toonie? Or would you actually dig out and start counting the 82 cents? I know what, well, of course you all would. I would just give them the toonie and the loonie. More importantly, was this estimation useful? Yes, because somebody told me this answer was 200 and something.
What I did, that was me, and what I did was, I kept so I did like 500 divided by 20 pi.
Yeah.
I kept the pi, and so I got 25. And then,
yeah, see, that's your mistake. That pi was in the denominator. What you did left it in the numerator. See, what you did, you had 500 over 20 pi. What you did was 500 divided by 20, which got you 25, no problem. But you didn't remember that that pi had to be in the denominator. So really what you had was 25 divided by pi. Now, what number is pi close to? 3, right? 25 divided by 3 is about 8, right? 8, then we had to square root it, right? Square root of 8 is pretty close to the square root of 9, which would have given you an estimate of around 3. So when you got 200, you would have said, holy crap, I'm totally wrong. Right? Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You guys all refuse to take 5 seconds to do an estimate. You would rather take 10 minutes to try to punch something into your calculator and get the answer totally wrong than take 5 seconds to figure out where you're possibly going. Okay? Let's do the third one. Volume of a sphere. Volume equals 4 pi r cubed divided by 3. Yes? Okay. What do I have? I have the volume. 7,602 equals 4 pi r cubed divided by 3. What do I have to get by itself? R. How do I get rid of divided by 3? Multiply by 3. So if I multiply this side by 3, what happens to the 3's? Gone. So what do I got to do to this side? Multiply by 3. So you go to your calculator and you do that work. Whatever it is. It's going to be 22,000 something. Cool. 22,806 equals 4 pi r cubed. Right? Now what? How do I get rid of times 4 and times pi? Divide by 4 and pi. Gone, gone, and I'm left with r cubed. Divide by 4 pi. Now, is it now time for an estimate? Is it? What is 4 pi close to? 12. What is 22,000 close to that works with 12? What's 22 close to that works with 24? So it's 24,000 divided by 12, right? What's 24 divided by 12? 2. So what's 24,000 divided by 12? 2,000. Okay. So you need the cube root of 2,000 is your guess. Now you guys are smart kids. What's the cube root of 1,000? What times what times what is 1,000? 10 times 10 times 10. So the cube root of 1,000 is 10, right? But you have 2,000s. So what's its logical cube root? So this cube root of 1,000 is 10, but you have 2,000s. So what's the logical cube root? 20. So your guess is 20, right? Okay. So now we go to our calculator and we get 22,000 when my calculator turns on, because it's, high quality. 22,806 divided by bracket 4 pi. 1814, right? Which is pretty darn close to the 2,000 we guessed, yes? 1814.3 or whatever it was. Now, 0.8. I write that down, but I've got the number on my calculator, yes? Now, I didn't teach you this because I wanted to see if you guys could figure it out. we get rid of a square by square rooting, yes? How do we get rid of a cube? Cube rooting. So on your calculator, you're looking for this button, cube root. And then you do the same thing. So I go to my calculator. Mine, I don't have it on my screen. I have to find it. It lives in here. See it right there? Cube root. Cube root of what? I have it written right here, but if I didn't have it written right here, what key would I use? The answer key. Cube root of the answer, 12.19. Come on. R equals 12.19. Now we say to ourselves, but self, we guessed it was 20, right? Right? But when we used our calculator, we saw we weren't looking for the cubed root of 2,000. It was a bit away, yeah? So that should be a bit away. And is it? Is everybody cool? All right, let's move on. Number 4. What's weird about number 4? What do I know? Height. So 100 equals negative 4.9 t squared plus 12t plus a. And I need a by itself, yes? So how do I do that? What has to move away from a? They have to move to get, if I move those two, will I get a by itself? Okay, so how do I get rid of negative 4.9 t squared? How do I get rid of negative 5 pi? I added 5 pi, so what do I do here? Add 4.9 t squared, right? To both sides, yeah? So now I've got 4.9 t squared over here, and this side's gone because I added 4.9 t squared. What do I do here? How do I get rid of positive 12t? Minus 12t. So what do I do to this side? Minus 12t. And what was already over here? Plus 100 equals a. Now, let me ask you this. Do you yet have the mathematical ability to solve an algebra question with 2 variables? You do, because you were in my honors class in grade 9. Do the rest of you have the ability to solve that? No, because there's 2 letters. At the end of this year, you will have the ability to solve that. But can you solve this now? No, you cannot. So why did I give it to you? Because did we change how we did this? No. You do everything you can until you can't do anything more. Do you understand? Everybody good? All right, let's move on to the next one. This question says solve for x. What does that mean? Because I've given you no numbers. So is there any substitution we can do? No. So what does it mean when I say solve for x? What does it mean in English to you? Yes, it means find x, which means get x isolated, yes? Agreed? Okay, so I have no numbers I can sub into this. I have to end up with x isolated. So what do I have to get rid of? What's the first thing blocking me from getting to x? What's in my way? Square root. So how do I get rid of it? What gets rid of square root? What got rid of squared? Square root. So what gets rid of square root? Square. So if I square this side, what happens to the square root? It's gone. So what's left here? 2x plus 4. If I square the right side, what do I do to the other side? So I've got a squared, yes? Okay. Now, what's getting in my way of getting to x now? Before the 2. That plus 4. How do I get rid of plus 4? Minus 4. Where else? Other side. A squared minus 4 equals 2x. Now what's in the way of the x? Times 2. How do I get rid of it? Divide by 2. Divide by 2. So now x equals a squared minus 4 over 2. Have I gotten x isolated? Did I just do algebra with no numbers? Is it the exact same thing as doing algebra with numbers? So is there any reason to say you can't do that question? Picking up what I'm putting down? This is complicated math. Is it complicated math? But if you asked a regular guy on the street, or a regular woman on the street, or a regular dog on the street, could they do that, do you think? Of course not. They would think you were a wizard. But is it difficult? I'm interested, Prab, and I'm not trying to put you down. Why do you think that that is difficult? Like, what about it bothers you? Because I want to learn. It's not a put down. We're having a good discussion here. Is it the lack of numbers? The numbers are what bug you, yes? Because if it was numbers, 2x plus 7 equals 14, you could do it in your sleep, couldn't you? Okay. Does everybody see the fallacy in that logic? Does everybody understand? Numbers are just symbols, aren't they? And variables are just symbols, aren't they? That, you say, is the number 2. But is it? What does 2 mean, Carlin? It means 2. I got 2 fingers. Well, how many things did I write there? But you told me it means 2 things. Do you see the problem? 2 is just a symbol for this. Just like a, x, 4, squared. They're all just symbols for something that you already know how to do. Understand? If you're faced with algebra you can't do an algebra question that you can do. Like 2x plus 7 equals 14. And remember that it's all the same thing. Everybody good? All right, what's the last one? How do I get x by itself? Multiply by 4. X equals 132. I lie. 92. What do I do over here? That's the shortcut, right? Carlin says, well, if x is on the top, I multiplied. Well, x is on the bottom now, so I should do the opposite. That's because Carlin understands math. But let's pretend Carlin didn't know that shortcut. How would I get x out of the bottom? I don't want it there, so it's got to move, right? So what do we do in algebra to move stuff? How did we move this 7 that we didn't want there? We did the opposite of what we see, right? What's the opposite of divide by x? Multiply by x. So if I multiply this side by x, what happens to those x's? They disappear, leaving me with 60, right? If I multiply this side by x, what do I got to do here? Multiply by x. So I get 5x equals 60. Now what? Divide by 5, x equals 12. If you can do the algebra, you get the reward of the shortcut, which Carlin already knew. The mistake that is often made for you guys is somebody shows you that shortcut without showing you why it works. Remember how when we were doing conversions, I made you actually write it out for the first little while? Right? Feet to yards, I actually made you write it out. Well, this is the shortcut to that. Everybody cool? All right, now listen. We're not going to have time today to mark like I wanted to. So what you guys are going to do is you're going to start on page 44 for the last 20 minutes of class. Tomorrow, first thing, we start marking this. I lie. Tomorrow, first thing, I walk up and down the rows and I see how much of this you left blank. Then we mark it. Then you tell me your score. And if I have written down on my piece of paper that kid X had 90% of his work blank, and that kid tells me he got 29 out of 30, everyone see the problem? Picking up what I'm putting down? So tomorrow at the beginning of the day, I'm going to walk up and down the rows. I'm going to see how much you left blank. I'm going to write a little number on my class list. That class list is going to be the percentage of stuff that you left blank, approximately. Which means you couldn't possibly score on that assignment higher than that percentage, could you? So when I ask you for your grade on Wednesday on your test, you won't be able to lie to me. Aye? Great. Finish this. Start it now. Finish it for homework.